questions?
No, you answered my questions as far as the reason was coming to us versus just DRO, and basically because of the size.
Yes,
of the size.
those are elements that can be handled under the DRO application process.
Yeah, so, no, I have no.
Questions?
I have no questions. I'm good with it.
Okay.
Is this emergency?
No, this was not submitted as emergency legislation, which would mean that if council does approve this at its next meeting, it would be 30 days from that before Hayner could, go ahead and do the rest of the installation. They have started putting in some of the area of, I guess we would say, the aesthetics of and the landscaping that was approved by the Troy Planning Commission.
Okay. But the signage will not go up until 30 days.
Right,
after
it could
approval.
not go up prior
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah.
And this is just for the 4 signs. That's all we're speaking on. It's just the construction of 4 signs.
Yes.
Essentially the reduction.
Reduction.
Robert?
Setbacks.
Yes, sir. It's
The main one is just its setback.
It's essentially
not gonna be as
two
far.
things, the setback reduction, and then there is one for the height.
Height.
On Oxford, that's all we're doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I have no further questions. What would you, move forward? Move forward. All right, if we can move. Oh,
Okay.
any questions
See.
from other council members? Councilman Lutz?
Good evening. This is a difficult item for me to discuss because I do have some concerns. I'm going to assume when council approved the DRO, we did not envision having DRO applications that dealt specifically with signs. And one of the things that I'm worried about is that if this goes through and this is approved, will we be opening the door for having more sign-only DRO applications in the future? And how do we prevent that from happening, knowing that we have a sign code, we have a Board of Zoning Appeals, we have city staff to take a look at those things? Because one of the concerns is that if this door is open, how many sign applications will council have to look at on a continuing basis that deal specifically with nothing but signs? Because I was under the impression that the DRO was more about creative land uses in the downtown area, in the inner city area, where we could take a look at setbacks, make those requirements a little less easy so that we could get more creative land use. I don't see where additional signs on parcels fits within that idea of a creative land use necessarily. And that's my only concern, because I know there's a lot of folks that manufacture signs, and they take very close attention to these types of decisions. And I mean, if we open the door, we might as well just might as well understand that we'll be seeing a lot of sign-only my concern is we may see a lot more sign-only applications.
Just for clarification, would that would only be in the Riverfront District overlay, and it would have to deal with land, right? So this wouldn't apply to someone just wanting a new sign on their building. For the
Well, I mean, it could if it's greater than half acre, or it's 4 or more parcels, if I understand the ordinance correctly.
Is that correct?
Yeah, it's anything over half acre. That's why we're discussing this, is because the parcels that they own is over half acre.
Half acre.
And
But anyone who has over a half acre could request a bigger sign on their building.
I believe that within the DRO designated area, there are only very few parcels that are actually greater than 1/2 acre. Would that be correct, Mr. Watson?
Correct. My understanding is there's only a handful that are over the half acre, which would come to council. In this instance, staff looked at it as more of a creative use due to its 4 properties, 2 different zonings. They're trying to get, as Ms. Knight stated, kind of wayfinding and a creative use for a broken up portion of that block. And that's kind of why we looked at the DRO. We wouldn't look at the DRO for variances or larger signs unless there's
On an existing building.
Yeah, unless there's a extenuating circumstances. But again, it'd be case-by-case basis.
Yeah, if there was anything downtown, a single building, unless it was, that would all go to the planning commission, and they would have the right of approval on that.
Correct. But again, I mean, if it's 4 or more parcels or more half acre, those things get kicked up to council. And I guess my question for the zoning inspector would be, there's nothing precluding an individual that has any property in the DRO to ask for a DRO application, correct?
Correct, but again, under the ordinance, there are 17 standards that it does have to meet. So there are some catches to that, and some
Okay.
safety nets for that they do have to meet. So
Okay.
I think, not to say there's not a chance, because there's always a chance for something like that, I think the opportunity for it to come up is small.
Okay.
And would be very, like in this instance, very special circumstances for that to happen.
Okay. All right. Again, I
Other-
think it's just a concern that needed to be discussed. Thank you.
Okay. City staff, anybody else comment? All right.
Mr. Wyan, did you have any comment?
Okay. Move forward? Move forward. All right, if we can move forward.
Okay.
To take it to council?
Well, it is on council's agenda already. It
Oh,
will have
right.
its third reading at this coming
Oh, correct.
council meeting, so.
Okay.
And we will prepare a report with a positive recommendation from the committee.
Okay, anything else to come before the Community Economic Development?
No, sir, not
All
tonight.
right, we're adjourned.